Thank you. Good morning, Roxana Barrantes from Institute of Peruvian Studies in Peru. Firstly, thanks for inspiring presentations. You have put several issues forward that may influence our 2.5 days of discussions. Relating to that, I would like to pose a question because you have been talking about public policy influence institutions, etc., and the importance of having that influence to be evidence-based. And I think that is very important. But at the same time, most of us are research institutions. So the research cycle may not go along the same time that the policy cycle on the one hand, and so policy implementers may need certain information, certain data, certain evidence at a point at which you don't have it yet. But on the other hand, one thinks about the quality of the evidence that is offered, because many times just a table may be used by anybody talking on the radio or going into the media, and you know from your work and from your academic expertise that that table is no good, to say the least. And so, how do you balance the public policy influence that needs to be evidence-based with the academically sound recommendations and the cycle of publications on peer-reviewed journals? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to take one more question and then come back, and I'm not going to go to everybody on the panel. I'll just pick somebody. Yes?
Bonjour, comme ça je vais faire changer un peu de casque là. Je vais parler en français. Alors,
je crois qu'il faut donner juste une minute pour les gens de mettre leurs voilà, écouteurs.
Ça leur fait un peu de sport là. Alors, donc je suis Cheikh Oumar Ba de IPAR Sénégal. Et je suis heureux d'écouter Antonio, IPAR Rwanda. Alors, moi j'avais 3 petites réactions très rapidement. La première, c'est quand tout à l'heure, le premier intervenant qui a travaillé à la banque, qui a parlé d'absence de réaction au sein des ministères. Ce qu'on doit noter, c'est que la plupart des ministères sont souvent amputés des cadres, justement, de la même façon que les institutions de recherche ont des problèmes pour retenir les meilleurs chercheurs. C'est comme ça aussi que dans les ministères, malheureusement, les meilleurs vont justement à la banque, etc. Vous suivez mon regard. Et ça, c'est une très bonne chose d'ailleurs. L'autre aspect, ça fait qu'effectivement, il y a très peu d'interlocuteurs de qualité au sein des ministères pour pouvoir réagir. La solution pourrait être le niveau d'influence justement des think tanks pour aider à non seulement améliorer les argumentaires au sein des ministères, des différents ministères qui n'ont pas souvent le personnel requis, mais également, et ça c'est un enseignement important, de considérer que le fait d'avoir seulement une influence au sein des ministères ne suffit pas. Parce qu'il faudrait aussi renforcer les capacités des acteurs de la société civile pour faire le plaidoyer, mais aussi pour interpeller les gouvernants, justement, qui sont souvent là pour des mandats et non plus pour, justement, le long terme. Et ça, je pense qu'il y a un équilibre à trouver entre l'influence du gouvernement et l'influence des acteurs porteurs des changements, de transformation pour que les politiques soient adaptées. Et enfin, la nécessité de poursuivre le travail actuel des TTI pour aider justement le niveau sous-régional, le niveau africain, pour participer sur les scènes internationales. Le problème que ça pose aujourd'hui, on parle par exemple des questions d'accaparement de terre en Afrique. Qu'est-ce que ça pose comme problème? Vous avez nos États individuellement qui négocient par exemple avec un gouvernement comme celui de la Chine ou bien un gouvernement comme celui du Brésil qui sont des continents. Donc un État individuellement ne pourra jamais avoir une stratégie suffisante pour faire passer ces idées. Donc voilà un peu quelques idées, certainement on y reviendra comme on est en train d'échanger. Je vous remercie.
That was a very interesting comment. And this issue of capacity within ministries, within finance ministries or other ministries, has now come up a couple of times. But let me go back to who would like to comment on either of the last two interventions. Antonia.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I didn't listen to the last one, but I want to comment on the question about research and policy cycle. And that's a very critical question. In a think tank, you know, that's the really importance of a think tank, to be able to link with the people who use information in a timely manner and produce high-quality researches. So as a think tank, you're not supposed to be like an academic institution and sit and do research and then come with a bang. You are supposed to know and link and know what the issues are. For instance, what we try to do at IPA is to link with key ministries and be able to know what is going around, what are the issues at stake. For instance, if we know the budget is going to be read or something like that, and we have a link there, you know, we know this is an issue that they're facing, and you're able to do a very quick, high-quality research and disseminate in time. And that's where the trick is. If you keep quiet and wait until when you produce a big research project with, 100 papers, nobody will ever, understand it. So it's about how quickly you do the work, how you link up, how you're up to, to date with information. And that's the trick and the challenge that we face in think tanks.
Thank you. Ruth, can you comment on was that on the same point?
I only heard half of it, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I know, that's the problem. Okay, but do you want to comment on Roxanne's point?
If I could, and it may relate to at least the second half, which I heard, and I'm sorry I didn't get my translation device unwound in time. I think that I completely agree with what Antonia said. I also think that the people in this room and your staff have a set of skills that are separate from knowledge from specific research projects. You have a set of skills that are tremendously valuable in the policy process. That is, the methodologic skills to sort of look at data as it's presented and understand whether the conclusions being drawn are likely to be valid or not. Thinking through causal mechanisms, and very importantly for those of you who come from economic backgrounds, to really be able to pull apart supply, demand, and price in whatever sector or policy you're talking about. Those are things that are second nature to most of you and are foreign languages to most of the people in the policy world with whom you're that you're supporting in one way or another. So I think separate from a particular question, applying those skills in the moment is tremendously valuable.
Thank you. Samuel, did you want to, did you hear what our colleague from Senegal said?
I was struggling with the translation. I missed. By the time I managed, he had finished.
I could do a quick summary, because I think it was a very important point, particularly the first 2 points that were made. One was on the deficits within ministries. So it's fine to talk about influencing policy, but often the capacity within ministries is not there in terms of the policy development. The second is the importance of the connection with civil society, because they are highly influential. And you probably, by the time we got to the third point about the international, you probably had your translation device